Now, I wanted to talk about Kawaki and how he receives the karma in the future, or maybe in the upcoming chapters, who knows. Like, this shit is kinda, moving fast, so we have to expect it sooner rather than later. But I'm leaning more to maybe mid time skip, possibly, rather than now or later on, because as we saw in the future, or the post time skip timeline, that clip we got at the beginning of the Boruto series, Kawaki still has the karma. So, something must have happened between now and that time, which gave him that power again. I also wanted to discuss where he'll send Naruto to and how he's going to do it. So, I kind of have a concrete theory on both, and it's kind of linked, of course, because everything is linked to the karma when it comes to Kawaki and that future clip we saw. So, I'm gonna get into that. But first, let's talk about the karma and how he'll get it back before we get into where he'll send Naruto to and how he's going to do it. So, firstly, I have two theories. One, it could be a case where, as we saw with Kawaki, and I mentioned this in a prior video, we saw Kawaki mention to Boruto that he could place his karma on Code and transfer Momoshiki's consciousness into Code, or resurrect himself into Code, so that Momoshiki wouldn't kill him when Momoshiki overrides his body. So I think it's the latter, right? Now, for me at least, I know Boruto isn't going to do that. Boruto is not going to resurrect within Code, it's just not going to happen. But it got me thinking, like, why would they introduce it if it wasn't going to be used in some way, right? So that got me thinking, what if instead of Boruto putting his karma on Code, because remember, Code has a karma, but it's a white karma, so it doesn't have the soul of the Otsutsuki, it just has the powers, the abilities. But Boruto has the black karma, so he has the soul of Momoshiki, and he also has the body of an Otsutsuki. So, what if Code decides to put his karma on Kawaki instead of Boruto putting his karma on Code? Now, hear me out. Now, the reason why I came to this conclusion is, let's say Code decides or finds a way to create a karma where he can put his soul into that karma. And this got me thinking about what happened in the spoilers that we saw for chapter 59. We basically saw Amado tell Kawaki that he can create another karma for him to use the powers that is stored within him. So Amado confirms that Kawaki still has the powers of Ishiki stored within him, but he can't access it. He needs a conduit or something to use that power. The karma seal was that conduit, right? So what Amado is offering is to create a black karma or a white karma that will allow Kawaki to use that power that is stored within him. Now, if Amado has the power to create a karma, it's a bootleg karma, so it's not the real deal, right? It's not the real karma created by an Otsutsuki, but it's a karma nonetheless. Let's say he does this for Code, because Code already has a karma. What if he's able to create a black karma and allow Code to transfer his data into a karma? Remember, he already has the powers, he already has the abilities. All he needs is a body. Because remember, Code is genetically enhanced, right? He's a cyborg. But what if the power that is stored within him, he cannot use that power properly with his body? He needs the body of an Otsutsuki, because you have to remember, with the Otsutsukification process, before the powers are used by the user or the vessel for the karma, their body has to be transmutated in a way, if that's the right word, to be like the body of an Otsutsuki, to be able to withstand the powers of an Otsutsuki. So what if Code cannot use the full potential of the white karma because his body has not been, what shall I say, Otsutsukified, is that the right word? Let's just say modified to match the DNA of an Otsutsuki, right? Let's say he cannot access the power fully. What Code will do is use Kawaki's body, or think that, okay, Boruto is already being possessed by a soul, the soul of Momoshiki, so he can't implant his soul into Boruto. So who is the next best vessel? Of course, the vessel Jigen planned to use, or Ishiki planned to use, which is Kawaki. So Code will try to put his karma on Kawaki to resurrect himself in Kawaki's perfect body. So that's my first theory. Now the second one goes like this, and this kind of links back to the spoilers we got for Boruto chapter 59, where Amado says that he can create a karma for Kawaki. So it could be simple as Amado just creating a karma for Kawaki, which is why he's able to use the karma in the future. Yeah, it's a little less exciting, right? I think the Code route would be more exciting and would add more to Code's character in a way, or add more drama to the series. But yeah, maybe he'll just create a karma for him and he'll be able to use the powers as we saw him using them in the post time skip timeline. So that could be the other possible option. I'm leaning more to the Code one because it's more exciting. Him just creating the karma is a little boring, to be honest. If he's just able to just get a new karma and use the powers, it's like he didn't really lose anything. So yeah, I don't know, man. I'm leaning towards the first one, but more likely they'll take the easier route, which would be to just make Amado create a new one for him. So yeah, those are my thoughts on how Kawaki will get his karma seal back. Now to Naruto. Now if Kawaki has a karma seal in the future, that means that he'll get it back at some point between now and the future, of course. Now I've theorized before that Kawaki will be the one to send Naruto away. I know a lot of people watched the post time skip clip and they saw that as Ishiki talking, right, and Boruto talking to Ishiki, and Ishiki is the one who sent Kawaki away, and Ishiki is still in Kawaki's body and he possessed Kawaki and took him over. So the person who destroyed the village, or the person that's fighting Boruto, is not really Kawaki. No, the person fighting Boruto is definitely Kawaki, and I'm 110% certain of this. Now the reason why is that I also mentioned this in a video I created before on where Kawaki will send Naruto. I'm gonna have that linked maybe below, and I'll maybe put it in a card so you guys can go check it out. It's more detailed and it's short. It's about 5 minutes because it was scripted. So what I said in that video, it's still true. It still holds up today. A little things have changed here and there as it relates to the outcome of the fight with Ishiki, but overall where Kawaki sends Naruto and how he sends him away, it still matters and it's still relevant to today. Now what I said in that video is that Kawaki is definitely in control in the future. That's definitely Kawaki. Now the reason why I say this is because Kawaki said that I'm going to send you where I sent the seventh. Right, the key word there being I. So I sent the seventh somewhere, not Ishiki sent the seventh somewhere. A lot of people will say, well, him saying I could be Ishiki referring to himself. Now the reason why that can't be true is because Boruto referred to Kawaki as Kawaki, not Ishiki. If he was Ishiki, he wouldn't refer to him as Kawaki because he'd know that his brother is not in control, right? So why would he say that Kawaki was this the only outcome? No, he would say Ishiki was this the only outcome. And why would he be asking Ishiki this? Because Ishiki wants one thing, to get the chakra fruit and extract life from the planet. Why would he be questioning Ishiki's moves and asking him, like, why would he do this? He already knows why he would do this. So it's obvious that person in control is Kawaki, and Boruto right there is trying to relate to Kawaki and trying to understand why he'd do this and go this far, which is assumably destroying the village. Now that's another thing. It hasn't been confirmed that Kawaki is the one who destroyed the village, right? He could be involved, maybe something else happened, but it's too early to say that Kawaki is the one who destroyed the village, right? It is possible, but I'm just saying that it's too early to say that. Maybe something else happened there and we'll get to know later on in the series. Now another thing I want to get into, which is what I mentioned earlier in the video. So we already confirmed that indeed it was Kawaki in control there. So now let's talk about where he sent Naruto and how he did it. Now, I kind of figured this out a while back. I think maybe when the chapter came out in the manga. I think that was what, 2 years ago. Like, it has been a while, right? It has been a while, almost 2 years, right? All right, so I kind of looked into it, right? The powers of Jigen. Jigen has two abilities. I think one is Sukuna Hikona, and the other is Daikokuten. Now, I might be botching the pronunciation. I don't care, honestly. You guys know what I'm talking about. One of them is the ability to shrink objects or shrink himself, and the other is the ability to store things in another dimension, I believe. Right, so it would be the ability where he's able to bring objects from another dimension, like the cubes. Also, that time he brought the table or the wine, the food, his clothes, like that power. Like he uses that power to store things in another dimension and bring them back at will. So that's one of the abilities. I think that one is Sukuna Hikona, I'm not entirely sure, but one of them is Daikokuten, the other is Sukuna Hikona. Now, my theory is that Kawaki will use the power that Ishiki used to store things in another dimension to store Naruto in that dimension. Now, as Ishiki mentioned, or Jigen mentioned, whatever is stored in that dimension, time is paused on the object or whatever. So he can basically store food, wine, and they'll never age. So he can literally bring them back anywhere and they'll be as good as new. So what's to say that the same thing wouldn't apply to a human? So it would be the same as Naruto being sealed, or the same as what Urashiki did to Toneri on the moon, which he froze him for what, 10,000 years or something like that. So it would be similar to that, but it would be Kawaki storing Naruto in that dimension, and that specific dimension is linked to Ishiki's eye. So it's not a dimension where Sasuke can just travel to, or Boruto can just travel to. It's the same as the Kamui dimension. The Kamui dimension could only be accessed by Obito's eyes. So it's similar to that, in my opinion. So the theory is that Kawaki will use that power to store Naruto in that dimension, and time will be frozen on Naruto, and Naruto wouldn't age, he wouldn't die, he wouldn't be hungry, nothing at all. He would be frozen in time, and that's how it will take Naruto out of the picture. Because again, Kawaki doesn't want to kill Naruto. Kawaki loves Naruto. It must be a reason why he took Naruto out of the picture without killing him. If it was Ishiki, he would have killed him, right? Kawaki took him out of the picture without resorting to killing him. Okay, so that's a good thing to look at, right? And we need to pay attention to these small details. So it's definitely Kawaki. As I said, he used this power to storm in that dimension, and I believe that the only eye that has the ability, or maybe future ability, maybe not at the time Boruto uses it in the manga, in the post time skip timeline, but at some point Boruto will get the ability to travel to this time space where time is frozen, and the eye that will grant him that ability is the Jogan. So he won't be able to access it with the time space abilities of the Karma, because again, a time space is linked to the eye that uses it, unless it could be a case where you can connect your eye to the time space while the user is using it, and it wouldn't be as easy as how it was for Obito to connect to Kaguya's time space, because Jigen's time space is a little bit different. It's kind of instant how things appear and disappear, so it wouldn't have time to really calibrate his eyes to the dimension to access it. So that would be the big difference there. So yeah, the Jogan is the only thing that could possibly save Naruto. Boruto will not be able to save Naruto from that dimension, or it could be that Kawaki will have a change of heart in the future and just release him, but there's no access in that dimension, which is how Naruto will logically stay out of the story so Boruto can grow. I'm not entirely sure what will happen to Sasuke though, because I was of the belief that he would have died in the fight against Ishiki, but maybe he'll die to Code or Ada, who knows. But Sasuke is obviously out of the picture as well. We're not sure what happened there, but again, a lot of the times when writers write these things and they create a certain future for their series, when they get like a year in or 2 years or 5 years, I think Boruto has what, 5 years or 4, they might change what they had set in stone, right, based on new developments or what they feel like doing now. So again guys, you might see a case where they change some of the things in the post time skip timeline because they changed their mind. So don't think that everything is set in stone, like that will definitely happen, right? They might change some things, right, just to maybe line up with what they're doing now. But yeah, that's it. That's why I think both Kawaki will send Naruto away, or where I think he'll send Naruto to and how he'll do it. And this is why I think Kawaki will regain the Karma Seal. If you guys did agree, or if you did not agree, let me know why down in the comment section. If you did like the video, drop a like, and if you're not subscribed, remember to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell to be notified when I post more Boruto content. And with that said, I'll see you all next time.